Good morning, probably.
Good morning.
Whatever. Let's just try this. Let's see how we're doing.
Oh, that's
Morning
brutal.
meditations.
Love it.
That's hilarious.
I apologize. Andy didn't give me the actual Big Byte opening video, so I had to put that in there.
That's a good one.
Well,
Make a nice little cameo.
I thought it was nice. So I'm seeing that we have three viewers, which I think is us right now, unless Streamlabs is lying to me. But I feel like that's a good enough reason to go.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I would think so.
The time for self-reflection.
It's a morning meditation.
Oh my goodness.
You made it sound like I was going to be guiding people.
I mean, I apologize for misleading everybody if you thought that we were going to have an audience, but
No, that's fine.
all right.
I prefer to speak to myself anyway.
I understand.
There's 5 watching now. Do you think that's more of us?
That's probably
Left,
all
so-
5 of us, yeah. And maybe Aaron. Hi, Aaron.
If you're here, say here.
Say Infobon.
See
We're up to
info
7.
button.
That means there's more than just us. 9. Let's go.
Great.
All right.
Good morning,
Let's go.
everyone. This is Rob's first time hosting, so if there are any issues with the audio or the video, that's completely his fault, 100%. But if it all goes well, Jeff helped, so that's probably why.
It's all Jeff's.
All right, let's get into it. So I was telling everyone that I had this link saved for a while, and I hadn't shared it just because I found other stuff that was cooler, felt more timely. But on the midweek mark, they were talking about QR codes and restaurants and how those are really useful. I know I've seen those at a few of the outdoor places that I've been to. It's a really nice way also to just save paper and to not have like a physical thing that you're passing around. So I had found this site called Velox Menus, and their whole entire product offering is the ability to build this online menu that's then connected to a QR code. Obviously, you can make a QR code that just connects to your website, but this is a really easy way to build it. It's mobile optimized, and there's a really easy user interface to kind of turn menu items on and off, and to push updates if you're out of something or not. So for maybe smaller sites or places that don't really have a great online menu experience, like a PDF or something, I thought this was just a really easy way to do it and something to keep in mind for any clients or people who are looking for this. Most of what we're trying to do now, like someone's already come out with a service for it, so we don't necessarily need to take the time to do a long, design and development process just to get an online menu. We can do something really quick and easy with a tool like this. So that's Velox. This next thing I found is called Maze. I believe we may have shared it before, but they've added some new support with Adobe XD, which I know we all have access to. And I just thought that it's a really interesting tool to keep in mind. So the whole point of this is you have a design and you're trying to test it. And you can basically walk people through this testing scenario. So if you had a prototype, let's say in Envision, you could paste it here and then give people like sign up for this product, and then they'd be able to test and walk through. I really like this because you don't have to develop anything to test it, but it feels like to a user that they're actually stepping through. And they will also help you source testers as well. So again, just another tool to keep in mind here as well. Now that they've added Adobe XD, is something that the whole agency could use as well. And my last share is not friendship at a discount. You have to pay full price for my friendship. It's just this website that I found. I think they sell coffee products. Not really sure, but at the bottom, there's sort of this surprise and delight little teapot that walks across
I
the
love
bottom
that.
of the screen. This is basically just an animated GIF that we're just like animating across, but they all just kind of come through. And this is, again, it's very easy. Like we could add this to any website. There's not a huge development lift here, but the elevation of the user experience, I think it really pays off for the time they had to put into this versus just like how much joy you feel when you see like a little teapot walking across and then more things come across. I was just adding these little pops of interaction to websites is really easy to do, and I think is really worth it. And yeah, like, look at that.
That makes me so happy. I mean,
Great.
come on.
That's just on
I
hover.
could, yeah, this is a hover. Basically, pauses the other animations and it just replaces this with a different one and stops the. So those are my shares for the day. Just a few useful tools and that guy. I believe David's up next.
David's up next, and just on cue, he disappeared from video.
Sorry, that's
Oh, Debo, what are you doing?
that's
Here?
a part of me using the web browser for Skype. But
All right,
if you can see my screen, we should be good.
I can in Skype. Yeah, it's probably okay.
we'll look at Jeff instead.
Okay. So first, Google came out with a bunch of updates for search, and the first thing that caught my eye was if you have a song stuck in your head, but you don't know the name of the artist, or you don't know the name of the song, or even the lyrics, you can actually hum the song that like is stuck in your head, and Google Assistant will be able to use machine learning algorithms to identify like these possible song matches and tell you what you're actually humming, which I thought was really cool and a really interesting progression for finding lyrics or finding a song that you're looking for.
This
Does this work now?
This works now. I believe they just released it.
I'm gonna try it.
This makes me very
I would
happy
like to try
because
this.
I was actually reading about this last night, and the article was like Google finally catches up to SoundHound because apparently they've had this functionality for the longest time, but theirs is like very limited. I've actually had this one song stuck in my head that was like a Muzak song that I heard in a hotel when I was a kid, but it was stuck on a loop. So my parents and I were eating lunch, and it played the entire time, and we were like laughing hysterically about it. I've always had it in my head, have never been able to like find it anywhere. So I hummed it into SoundHound, and it was like, "Did you mean Heart-Shaped Box by Nirvana?" And I was like, "Not even close at all." So I'm really happy that now Google's getting into this because I feel like their data is going to be like 10 times better than whatever the hell else is out there. So I might finally
You'll
find this.
Yeah, that would be great. You should keep us updated on that.
Oh, I will.
And they also updated Google Lens, which is if you search with your camera, they can get real-time results as to what you're looking at using image recognition. So the first application for that could be scanning and translating text on a card or a train ticket. Another thing that you can do is find a look that you like or see an outfit that caught your eye. They can pinpoint these specific points in an image and surface related results, which is something that's really interesting, especially with everyone shopping for, Black Friday or for Christmas, something to keep in mind. Another thing that is something helpful for me is seeing what's popular on menus. So if you go to like a fancy restaurant and there's no images, which I hate, you can actually just take your camera out and it will show you, what this burger or whatever is on the menu looks like, which is really nice.
That's
And
awesome.
you can also explore, popular landmarks, which is something I think existed before, as well as the functionality to identify plants and animals, and step-by-step homework help if you're at
come
home.
on.
If you're at home and you don't have to go to school. You can just use your camera to do your homework. It's easy. So just some like really interesting improvements to Google search. And there's actually a longer article and a longer video that I won't share today, but I can link out to after this. And it really just goes into depth of how they actually made this all happen. So that's all I had to share, just a little deep dive into some updates for Google search.
That's super impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine like the data science behind that.
Well, this one right here is actually super interesting because they partner with businesses like the United States Census Bureau, and they can get this real-time data to surface after you make a search, like how much do most people make in Chicago? And you can see in Chicago, but you can also compare it to broader United States.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Wow. That's so cool. Awesome. Thank you for the shares, man. Those are so cool. I'm actually really stoked about the camera one too, about like the identifying plants and whatnot, because I always end up just taking pictures and then sending them to my mom, and she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, you're useless to me. I don't really say
We'll
that.
see how it identifies. I was just going to say that. I'm going to test it out on my dog.
Yes.
My phone has that thing. I think most phones do now. Google started it with Google Photos, where you can like search your own photos. So you can look for like dog or birthday, and it keeps thinking that I'm a child. So if I search my phone for photos of like child, like baby, it'll just show me pictures of, like myself from last year. So sometimes it's just, you get trolled by your own technology.
It's brutal. I love it.
It's tough. It's real tough.
That's terrible and wonderful.
All right. Anyway, Phil, is this you?
Yeah, it's me. So I just have one quick thing to share. This is something that YouTube launched on October 6th. So it's called Your Vote, Your Way. And basically it's kind of going along the idea of kind of things that we've been hearing this year about how you kind of have to make your plan to vote. It's not enough to just have the intention to vote. You have to plan ahead. And so what this is a video series, which you can watch on your own, but basically it explains to you how you should make a plan to vote. But what's really cool about it, in my opinion, is what happens at the end. And so they explain how like everyone's different, everyone makes decisions in their own way. But at the end here, which you'll see in a second, it's basically like turning it into a choose your own adventure kind of thing, where it links to 4 other videos for you to continue on to. So the first step is making a plan, and you can make a plan, or you can learn how to make a plan through cooking, animation, body art. I'm not sure. I haven't watched that one. Kids. So like if, for example, you click the cooking one, it will take you through how to make a plan to vote, but like kind of comparing it to how you have to make a plan when you're cooking something. So this guy's making a pizza, and then at the end of this video, it's the same kind of thing where it allows you to choose your next path in the story. And so the next step would be how to register. And so you can see you have these 4 other different themes of video styles that you can choose to go to,
sick.
and you just kind of keep going from there. So I just thought I've never seen anyone use like YouTube's like these end screens like this before, and I thought it was a really clever thing to do. And like it's also like a really easy thing to do because it's something that YouTube allows you to do with videos. So this is definitely something that we could do if we had the right opportunity.
I like this a lot.
Yeah.
Love it. That's really cool. All right, let me share. Cool. You'll see that?
I see that, and
Seems
I
that
feel
way.
that.
I
Heavens
hear
to
that.
Betsy, that's large. Hold on.
Oh, Chris Coyer. I've been listening to he's got a podcast that I've been listening
Yeah.
to recently. It's great.
Yeah, Andy said the same thing, Rob, that it's a 27-inch monitor. It's pretty normal. It's 1080p. Shouldn't be like a resolution thing. I don't know.
Listen, I don't need you rubbing your amazing monitor in my face on live
very
stream.
standard.
Okay, so
Very standard monitor.
it's a gorgeous monitor.
It's fine. Let me know when.
You're beautiful. Go
Anyways,
for it.
okay. So this is an article written by Chris Coyer, as Jake said. It's on CSS tricks, so just right off the bat, you get like a really cool scroll bar and menu. It's just a really well laid out and styled site, obviously. But he kind of goes into like how he got into development, and he said it was by fiddling on the front end in his browser, just fiddling with the CSS and kind of affecting what the site looks like. And he's got a lot of these kind of, what would you call these, call outs or like quote sections that just stand out a lot more than the rest of the type which is kind of indicative of, CSS. But some of these are really cool. Front-end development is at the intersection of art and logic, a cross of business and expression, both left and right brain, a cocktail of design and nerdery. And a lot of his writing is beautiful in that way. Being a front-end developer puts us on the front lines between the thing we're building and the people we're building it for. That's a place that some of us really enjoy being, I'm sure. Not everybody enjoys being there. But just a really good read, not only for front-end developers, but basically his story is that front-end developers are being asked to do more back-end development, more, design and UI and UX and stuff like that. Just kind of because they're at this intersectionality between design and development. It's a good read. I don't want to beat it over its head, but it's a good read. I think we should all read it. Here is a data visualization, and this is by party, right? So by Democratic or Republican. So it's very interesting, and it's animated over time, and you can just see how, I don't want to get too political, but you can kind of see how maybe messages get taken over by, politically. It's actually, I'll speed it up a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's just brutal.
It's always interesting to see how data can be, manipulated as well. Because,
True.
in the beginning, and some of them, it looked like, okay, Massachusetts had, a really big problem. So depending on how you show things in a chart or what you say, in a meeting earlier, Phil had changed the thickness of something from 0.5 to 1 pixel, and we were all like, he doubled it. It's 200%. Like, this is, so like you could say, oh, we increased by 0.5 pixels, or we can say, oh, the thickness was doubled. It was increased like 2x.
Definitely.
So just depending on how you say things or view things on data, it tells a different story.
And this is framed in a very, look at the timeline, right? It starts months into the pandemic. So like a lot of this time before June 1st was in New York. It was a lot of, northern states.
Yeah.
Can you go through it again, or just go to the end?
Absolutely.
I also, while you're doing
Start
this,
halfway
is
through.
this,
Oh.
so is that a video that you're playing, or is this like live animation on screen?
It's live animation using a data model and probably like a JSON file or something.
That is fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm going to go into this next. So it says down here a Flourish bar chart race. So Flourish is the library that they use, the animation library it's kind of more like a data library, I guess.
Okay.
To produce these. And so bar chart race is just like one of their canned styles of animation.
Arizona is winning, but Florida is catching up to win the race.
Florida, you could tell, like,
say losing, but
when it definitely losing.
No, it's a
you
race.
could tell,
so they're winning.
Like, you remember in the not too distant past when California had a strong uptick, you could see like those dates that you remember, and you could see it visually represented where that state just goes, skyrockets. like Florida. Yeah, it just happened there.
Mhm.
So sad, but true, and pretty compelling when you see it, animated over time like this using the raw data.
Quite.
Yeah, this is most cases. There's also fewest cases. There's also different ways you can, this is by partisanship, state partisanship, but there's, total death, total cases, blah, blah, blah. Cool ways to slice and dice data. So yeah, Flourish. This is the data visualization framework that they're using. So they went with the bar chart race, which I think it illustrates it the best, but they have just tons of other really cool charts here. So these are all the charts, different fills, different segments, and I'm clicking through all of these. There's 8 different charts. There's zoomable hierarchies. I mean, there's just tons. So Warner Brothers, okay, they have comedy and romance. What do they have in comedy? Okay, they have all this kind of stuff. Just an interesting way to traverse different subsets of data.
It looks like there was the one that we used to use several years ago, D3, but it looks like it's kind of taken that and just really enhanced it. Like, this is a really good looking library.
Oh yeah,
Nice
Enhanced.
find, man. Love those.
Hey, thanks. Another super quick share is the Google Play Store, which is it's like the Apple iStore, but for Google, for Android phones. They're replacing their hamburger menu, which everybody recognizes as like the main menu, with your avatar, which I've gotten used to that in Chrome. They started doing that. So in the top right of my Chrome window, my avatar is up there. It's just an interesting test. It is a test. They've said it's a UI test to see how it performs and how people react to not having the hamburger on the menu.
Hamburgers should always be on the
I
menu.
always order the hamburger.
I know. That's about all I got.
Nice.
It's a good read.
shares.
I'll share this.
Thank you, man.
Of course.
So I mean, there's a really good chance that this entire thing didn't work or was super jittery and rubbish, and apologies